What is up? Sorry, I just coughed into the mic. Josh was telling me last time I did this, he was saying, you got to wait a second, that you guys can't see me yet. Is that true? Josh, can you see me right now, or is that a no? All right, well, we'll just get after it, I guess. Oh, even better, Shaq Nums with the Baker Mayfield pick. Is that Baker Mayfield? I like it. I like it. It looks like his mugshot. Is that his mugshot? Anyway, welcome back. A little live hang Wednesday nights, doing this every week. We are talking week 2 preview, but let's talk about last week. It's best time of the year, guys. Best time of the year. We got football. We had football. Last week was a real treat. I'm all in on the NFL Thursday, Friday nights. I think it's only a matter of time. The NFL wants to own every day of the week. For a while, they respected Saturdays. They respected they just respected like college and high school football. And I think those days are going to be gone, soon going to be gone, which means there's going to be a time where you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe not every week, but they're going to do something like that. And I'm here for it. It gives me something to watch all the time. So last week was fun. And Shaq Nums coming up big. 10-6 was my record from last week. You kept track, man. Look at you. That's awesome. I got it in front of me right here. 10-6. So let's look at real fast. Let's look at what I feel good about, the things I predicted, and what I was definitely wrong about. So I'm just going down the list. I picked Baltimore, and that's just because I'm not as high on KC. Now, KC looked pretty good. Xavier Worthy looked good. Rashee Rice just runs slants all day, and for some reason, no one can stop him. But also, Xavier Worthy only had a couple touches. Like, I know he scored 2 times, but an end around and a busted coverage, like, great. He could be that kind of player, but don't sell me that he's like a number 1 receiver. I don't believe that yet. So anyway, wait and see. If Isaiah Likely had shorter toes, they would have sent that game to overtime. Actually, it looked like John Harbaugh was going to go for 2. So I missed that one. I picked Philly correctly. That game to me, guys, that was like the most they're like the exact same teams to me. 2 quarterbacks that I think are careless with the football. That want to make some highlight throws, and that's fine. But both turned the ball over. Both of them had pick sixes dropped. Both of them had bad, egregious interceptions. Jalen Hurts in the end zone across his body. Both defenses have real problems. So I don't know what to take away from that game other than they're probably at the same level. They both probably have defensive problems, and both their quarterbacks need to protect the ball better. Both of them made some highlight plays. They do that too. Jordan Love made that throw on the run. Jalen Hurts had a couple great throws, but they also do the other. They're also on the other extreme. So it's hard to make totally what they are. I wouldn't put them as like tier 1 teams right now, but I just don't think there's enough evidence on them. So anyway, I won't do this for everyone. I whiffed on Atlanta. I really thought Atlanta was going to win. I underestimated how hard it would be for Kirk Cousins to come back and look like himself. Maybe they can still do that. I didn't get to watch any of that game. I've just seen some highlights and stuff, and it just looked like he was a statue, which is not good. You got to be able to move a little bit. Not that Kirk's game is based on moving around a bunch, but you got to move around a little bit. A lot of people breaking down video. He didn't want to plant off that foot. So that's concerning. I'm concerned about Atlanta, concerned about Kirk Cousins specifically. I think the play calling will switch up this week for them, and you'll see a different look in Atlanta. Buffalo got right. Arizona, I thought you were going to win that game. Buffalo came out with the win. Chicago should have lost. Chicago fans, I would not panic about Caleb Williams yet, but I would be quiet about how much trash talking Chicago fans have done about Caleb Williams and about how you guys are going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying he's a bust. I'm just saying maybe chill out a little bit. Okay. Freaking chill out a little bit. I've been really high on Caleb Williams, but maybe there was something too that got to play within the system. Even Bill Belichick, when he was asked about it on the McAfee show, was it McAfee? Somewhere he was talking, and they were talking about freaking Caleb Williams preseason. And Belichick was like, I didn't think he was that impressive. He went like 10 for 20. He was 50%. And sure, he had a couple big throws like on the run, but those aren't playing in the system. So I'm not saying he's a bust because he's not. You can't know that yet. But just for Chicago fans, chill out a little bit. Chill out. You might want to keep your mouth shut a little bit because you got bailed out by the defense, bailed out by special teams. That's all I'm saying. Cincinnati, the biggest shocker of them all. Not sure what to make. Don't feel good about my Cincinnati pick to go to the Super Bowl and win it at the moment. Joe Burrow's got something going on with his wrist, guys. You guys have all seen the videos. He's got something going on with his wrist. It's not good. It's not good. T. Higgins is still out. That doesn't help. Doesn't help. Jamar Chase has been out. The Bengals have done this before, but Burrow's wrist does not look good. It doesn't look good. And guess what? They got the Chiefs this week. And spoiler alert, I'm not picking the Bengals to beat the Chiefs this week. I might have last week if Joe Burrow had looked better, but man, there's something going on. Indy took Houston to the wire. Houston won, but I picked that right, Houston. But man, Indy's better than I thought. I think Anthony Richardson's better than I thought. He only completed 9 passes, but man, does he have a cannon for an arm and dropped a few in there. So we'll see. We'll see. But he looks pretty good. Miami, another one, probably should have lost. If ETN doesn't fumble going into the end zone, then they probably would have lost. Biggest whiff I had outside of, I guess, calling my shot, Carolina. No. Carolina's the worst team in the NFL. I just thought David Canales with Bryce Young would get more out of him, and then Bryce Young on the first pass just throws an interception. So that's on me. I'll wear that. I was wrong. They're going to win 3 or 4 games this year. I have no faith in Carolina. I think they're picking 1 or 2 this year, and they will be picking a quarterback. Those are my thoughts on that. I'm sorry, I led you astray. Minnesota dominated the Giants, not surprised. Vegas losing to the Chargers. Okay, got that. Denver over Seattle. This game is funny because even though Denver didn't win, so my man, I know you're a Bronco fan. I know they didn't win, but they kind of confirmed how I felt about both. Sort of. Like, Seattle didn't look great. Seattle, you were at home. You guys were losing 13-9 at half. Geno had a really bad pick at the beginning of the game. Gave up 2 safeties, which was crazy. Really weird game. So I don't feel bad about my prediction earlier. If you went back to my prediction video where I had them finishing last in the NFC West. Now, who knows if that'll play out? The Rams are banged up like crazy. And the Cardinals are still the Cardinals, but the Cardinals took Buffalo to the wire on the road. So I'm just saying, like, out of all all 4 NFC West teams, Seattle, you were as maybe the least impressive or just as unimpressive as the other ones. Like, Rams almost beat the Lions, took them to overtime, even with those injuries. Cardinals, like, I don't know. Bo Nix was not effective. And so that's I was really high on Bo Nix after I did that video, and I'm still high on him long term, but maybe the rookie year is not going to be the best for him. I will say, Seattle's not an easy place to play. Mike Macdonald, their coach, is also very good defensively, schematically. So could have just been a first rookie start. So we just got to see. We got to see. I thought maybe Bo would have a little more success through a bad two bad picks, but I'm not super high on Seattle just because they won, just given the fashion they won. You're so limited with Geno as your quarterback. Just is what it is. Defensively, they're going to be more stout than they've been, but they're so limited with Geno. I don't care who you are, they're limited. Anyone who watched that knows what I'm talking about. Josh says Broncos just need to running the ball more. I think Bo will get there. I agree. They need like a true running back though. I couldn't even tell you who their starter is. I don't think it's Javonte. Is it Jaleel McLaughlin? They need a guy. They need a guy. They're not a running back away from being like a perennial playoff contender and frequent playoff attendee appearance. Well, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but that's in. They need a guy. They need a guy. So I'll leave it at that. We'll talk more about that when we get to the next game. Dallas, guys, I told you. Anybody who doesn't believe me, Dallas is going to be good. One of the most egregious things this offseason was trying to tell me Dallas was going to suck. Dallas is the same team they were last year. Same roster, essentially. Okay, you upgraded. You have Eric Kendricks at Eric Kendricks at linebacker. Okay. You got Diggs back, who had a pick. CD's there. I know the run game is what it is, but Zeke did exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. He's got about 10 carries, 10 to 15 carries a game. He's going to be in that 40-yard range, and he's going to score a touchdown. Because every time they get inside the 10, they're going to hand it to Zeke. And guess what? It's fine. That's what teams do now. Okay. Dak is a very good regular season quarterback. Okay. And he was an MVP finalist last year. And CD is still CD. They're going to be fine. They're going to be good. They're going to be good. If Philly and Dallas were playing this weekend, I would take Dallas. I would take Dallas over Philly because Philly has problems on their defense. And I know Deshaun Watson looked terrible, but Dallas's defense is good. Mike Zimmer is a better defensive coordinator than Dan Quinn. So Dallas is going to be good. How good, I don't know, but I think they're going to win the division. They're for sure in the playoffs. Like, they're going to be good. And anyone who thought they're going to miss the playoffs, why? Because Jerry didn't sign anybody. Like, it's just not rational thinking. It's not logical. I got to hop in. Scott left a comment here. Let's see what he said. He's always up to no good. Trade CMC to the Cowboys. 49ers don't need him. I will give you CMC. Sorry, guys. I've been sick for like 2 weeks now. Scott, I will give you CMC. Official trade offer. I speak for Shanahan. I got him on speed dial. I'll give you CMC. You give me Micah. Give me Micah. Straight up. I'll give you CMC. The faithful might not like it, but they'll like it when Micah and Nick Bosa are bookends, and then Leonard Floyd rotates in. So, yeah, that's the official deal. You can have him. It's all yours. He's all yours. That's what it'll take, though. Scott says, Josh says no deal. Josh, you'd rather have CMC than Micah? That's kooky talk, but also I respect it because CMC is the man right now. Anyway, we're almost there. And we'll jump into week 2, okay? Another whiff by me, okay? Washington over Tampa Bay. Washington's not there. I thought, along with the Carolina thing, I thought losing David Canales, I thought Canales was the reason that Baker played so well last year. And so I thought Baker just would struggle a little bit. And I thought Washington had some they've got a better quarterback now, even though like he's fine, but like there's the jury's still out on him. He's still a rookie. But I would take him over Sam Howell. So I just thought maybe they'd sneak a win, and that would be one of the surprises. And I was wrong. I don't think Washington's would be terrible, but they have problems on defense. Josh says Micah can't fit the run. I don't disagree with that. Micah, I feel like one of the weaknesses of Micah or how you attack the Cowboys is you run at Micah. But I will take Micah to rush the passer. We might lose a little bit in the run game, but 49ers going to be ahead in a lot of games, which means the other team's going to be throwing the ball a lot. And we could have used Micah in the Super Bowl. We could have used a little more pass rush on the opposite end of Nick Bosa would have been great. But anyway, I get your point though, Josh, because especially last year, the playoffs couldn't stop anything on the run in the run game. So I get you. Detroit over the Rams. That was a crazy game. Also, the Rams lost 3 more linemen. 2 of them went on IR. Matt Stafford's great. They also lost Puka. Man, what are the Rams? Guys, the Rams, I'm going to talk about them in a minute, but they are in a deadly spot. They're in a deadly spot. The Lions also didn't do them any favors. I don't know if Ben Johnson's just trying to prop up Jared Goff. He might be, but he did not do himself. They did not do themselves any favors with some of their play calling. You saw it in overtime. They were like, fine, screw it. We'll just run the ball. And then look what happened. Now, the Rams might have been gassed. Fine, but that's part of the game. I'm convinced they should have ran the ball they doubled the amount of times they did during the game. I don't know what their official numbers were, but I would lean on that run game and that offensive line. So I feel like that score is probably closer than it should have been, but credit to Matt Stafford, credit to Sean McVay. As good as it comes in the NFC, just is what it is. They're so good. You can't ever truly count them out. But Detroit got the win. San Francisco, I talked about this in my last video. If you want to go watch that reaction video, I did it, but Niners look good, man. If the defense is going to look this good the entire season, then watch out, NFC. You're going to have trouble because this defense is better than last year's defense. It is. Steve Wilkes last year, his defense could not stop the run. I will fight anybody on this. I think Malik Collins, who's playing inside as a 3-tech next to Javon Hargrave, he replaced Eric Armstead. He is an upgrade. He is an upgrade at a fraction of the cost, and he plays more games. He plays more games. I loved Armstead, but he would disappear at times and literally disappear because he'd be hurt half the time. They let him go. They didn't want to pay him the 20 mil or 17 mil, whatever it was. And Malik Collins is a fraction of that. And he looked great. And Javon Hargrave is chomping at the bit to prove that he's worth that money. So anyway, if that's how they're going to look, good luck, NFC. Good luck. Okay, I'm not going to go into Super Bowl stuff, but just good luck. You're going to struggle. If everyone's healthy, good luck. Even with, we got to talk about Jordan Mason, a freaking dog. Now, I want CMC back. I wouldn't guess he's going to play this week, but Jordan Mason, man, what a debut as the starter. But to 49er fans, it was the least surprising thing I've ever seen. Shaq Numbs asks, is CMC a system running back? Think about it with the big eyes. No. Sorry, I'm looking at the comments too. Great question. It's very appropriate given in the 49ers and the whole Brock Purdy talk. But listen, CMC does everything, catches the ball, lines up literally anywhere on offense. He can pass block. He runs. He's a different style of run than Jordan Mason. I'm worried about the reason we need CMC back is because Jordan Mason cannot run this way 28 times a game and stay healthy. He won't. A concussion, a dislocated shoulder, like broken collarbone, like something. I don't want it to happen. He runs so violent and it's great. And the Jets by the third quarter didn't want any. You can see him start taking weird angles. They start catching instead of meeting him in the hole. And that's great. And it might hold up for another week or two, but CMC needs to get back because I don't know how long that'll last. You're convinced Shanahan can take any running back and turn him into a freight train and best RB award? Maybe, but he doesn't. Like listen, offensively, every position is going to be elevated with Shanahan because he schemes everybody well. But he's had other running backs and he just rotates them through and they're good. But he hasn't. At least since he's been on the Niners, he hasn't had one like Jordan Mason, like a true bruiser, like a mini Marshawn Lynch. He hasn't had that. So that makes him unique. He usually likes faster, quicker guys. But I don't disagree. Like he made Tevin Coleman look great when we went to the Super Bowl that year in 2019. So I don't disagree. But CMC is one of one. I think everyone will tell you that. Just his ability to catch the ball. And CMC could legit be an all-pro slot receiver in the NFL. Like he's a unicorn. I want to get to a couple of these and we'll go here. Fred Warner's comments after the game. Yeah, this was big time. Okay, Nick Sorensen is the new play caller on the defense, and Fred Warner after the game said he called a perfect game, flawless game. And last year, you could after some of these games, he was kind of taking shots at Wilkes, the DC, without saying his name, and it was just bad. And people who think like, Shanahan fired Wilkes as a cop out for losing the Super Bowl, like not true. They had problems all year long. All year long, there was friction. Scott, we talked about this today, me and Scott earlier, but your original take. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, you're right. You came up with this. I think Fred should be talked about more in the Defensive Player of the Year talk. He is that important. He's that good. You have other players. You had a Philly player. If it was Darius Slay during Monday Night Football tweeting out, talking about Fred Warner, how great he is. He is that good. Now, he won't win the Defensive Player of the Year. Not as long as there's pass rushers getting 15 to 20 sacks a season. They have a weighted position. So, but I think Fred needs votes, and I think he needs to be talked about more because what he does, he's the quarterback of the defense, is unbelievable. Last one. Also, what about the Niners controversy, if you will, about failing to report him as out? Well, listen, he's been on. I listened to John Middlecoff talk about this morning, who worked in the NFL, was a scout. He and you said it right here. Sorry, I just saw your next comment, guys. He was questionable. He's been limited in practice for a month now, or 2 weeks now. They didn't. It's not like they had him not on it at all and then just ruled him out. That's a controversy. You go from he's not even on. He hasn't been on the report all week, and then all of a sudden he's inactive. No, guys, he has a calf strain and Achilles tendonitis. He's questionable, and sure, the player says, "Yeah, I'm going to play." And then guess what? They even worked him. The report was, tell me if I'm wrong, but someone reported they worked him out Monday before the game, and he was like, "Yeah, I can't go." So I don't that right there is the tell. Like, yeah, they weren't sure if he wasn't going to play. If they were positive he wasn't going to play, then they wouldn't have even worked him out on Monday. But also he was on the report, and if Friday night they were just like, guys, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think he should play. Then great. What is it? John, Shanahan and John Lynch are supposed to call a press conference and announce it. No, he's been on the report and he was questionable. So what are we? Just people are mad. People are just mad. And also, what Middlecoff brought up, the best thing ever was who can really be mad other than, I guess, fantasy players. But like, if you heard on Friday that CMC wasn't going to play, you know what everyone would have done? They would have bet the Jets and then they would have lost even more money. So, like, no one can really be mad except for these fantasy football players, like Scott Smart, who I was playing this week, and he had CMC, and it ruined all chances for him to win. So that sucks, man. I'm sorry, but I'm not that sorry. So anyway, that's where I'm at with it. Um, you think Kyle was lying? He loves to play games with the injured. Listen, the truth is he could have just said the most rational take I've seen is like you could tell Jordan Mason, look, you're going to get the bulk of the carries. That doesn't even mean CMC is going to be out. That doesn't. You could even tell him, look, you are going to start Monday. That doesn't mean CMC's out. Gonna mean he was on a pitch count, and we're just going to dress you, but we're going to let Jordan go, and if he's struggling, then we'll put you in, and if not, you just won't get any snaps. Like he didn't do anything wrong. Fantasy players are mad. Maybe Kyle was playing games, but he didn't do anything wrong. He was on the report. I think everyone just got fooled because CMC's been saying for 2 weeks now he was going to play, and then he was wrong. But he's the player. Of course he's going to say that. So anyway, here we go. Let's talk week 2. Let's talk week 2. If you guys have any other questions, things you want me to cover, then by all means, let's do it. Just throw it in the comments. Here we go. I want to make sure I got the right. Here, I want to do this one. Do you guys like that better? It's a little bigger. Okay. Shaq Nums for you. We're going to go off DraftKings. DraftKings, hit me up with a sponsor. That would be awesome. I would love that. Guys, this stuff is so good. Orange Crush packets, mix it with your water. It's perfect. Now, I say this all the time. Anyone who's been around me, I say this all the time. This is a ping pong league or a roller coaster league. So you get teams that play bad, and guess what? The next week they're going to play better. It doesn't mean they're going to win, but they're going to play better. And that happens all the time. And teams that played really, really good generally come down a little bit, and they don't play as well the next week. Okay, that is just true for all of them. Now, it doesn't mean you win. It doesn't mean you go win, loss, win, loss. It just means you as a fan, if you're watching every single week, you can see it. You can just see teams ebb and flow, and it's just how it is. That's how this league works, okay? And so when your team plays bad and you still win, you feel really good. If your team plays good and they lose, then you kind of feel not as good, okay? Because generally it just pings pongs back and forth. Not true 100% of the time, but I bet if you could chart it somehow, you would see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to talk about that with some of these teams, okay? Tomorrow, you've got Buffalo at Miami. Miami's a 2.5-point favorite. This one was the hardest one of the week for me to pick. There's so many weird things about it, but because you've got short week on the road for Buffalo, that spells trouble to me. Historically, teams on Thursday nights on the road don't do as well. So that was tough. I think Miami is more equipped on offense. I'm not the biggest Tua believer. He did not play great. I know he had the 80-yard touchdown. I know that he led the league in passing this past week, but it was a struggle for a bit. And without Tyreek and that 80-yard score, I don't win. I don't know. I'm just not a big Tua believer. But I think Buffalo has issues on defense. And Josh Allen, I love Josh Allen. He's a turnover machine. But he puts the team on his back. I love watching him play. But short week on the road. So I'm going Miami. I'm going to go Miami. That's probably a close game. It's probably like a field goal game, but I'm just leaning with the home team there. Okay. Next, we're talking ping pong league. Okay. Both these teams I wouldn't say underachieved. Maybe the Ravens I would, because I didn't think they played that well. Lamar, I don't care what anyone says. Lamar didn't play that great, guys. He did not play that great. He had a couple of nice plays, and then credit to him on that last drive. He bringing the Chiefs back, bringing the Ravens back against the Chiefs, but he missed that wide open Zay Flowers in the end zone. That sucks, man. He had an overthrow to Likely before the final play. The final play is all unlikely. He should have got his foot in bounds. But anyway, He didn't play great. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. He did some great things. He made some good plays, but also he didn't play as well as I'm sure he would have wanted to. What I'm going to say is the Ravens are going to murder the Raiders. Okay. This is not going to be close. I would take Ravens in the points. If I was a bet man, I would say they're going to cover that spread 8.5. This has a 2 to 3 touchdown game written all over it. The Raiders did hang with the Chargers for a bit. Chargers got to figure out some stuff on offense. First game for Harbaugh, they ended up making that a 2-score game. But yeah, I'm going all Ravens in this one. This sucks to be the Raiders. So you have to play the Ravens on the road after that last game. Heartbreaker. Saints Cowboys. This one is going to be this is a sneaky, really good game. I'm taking the Cowboys. I think they'll cover. I don't know though. But here's my thing. The Saints from last week, that is not who I think the Saints are. I think Carolina is that bad. They were playing at home. I don't trust Dennis Allen, and I do not trust Derek Carr. Now, Kubiak, their new offensive coordinator, comes from the Shanahan tree. Like, he is better than what they've had in the past. But I don't care. Against a good defense, you're going to find out. So the good news is you'll find out. If you're a Saints fan, you're going to find out real quick if they're for real or not. Because I do not believe in that combination of Dennis Allen and Derek Carr. I just don't. They have a good defense. So Dallas is going to be tested too. But Dallas has a good defense as well. And so I'm going to take Dallas. I feel like they'll cover the win by a touchdown, but if you told me this game finished 23-20, would believe you. It's a very believable score. So I'm going to go Dallas in this one. Detroit and Tampa Bay. Oh, no, gosh, I'm looking at my paper that's different than the order they have here. Really? Wait. Oh yeah, it's right there. Okay. Niners Vikings. I'm going to do a video I think tomorrow, more of a deep dive into this game as a preview. I'll say this, though. The Niners have not won in Minnesota since 1992. Now, that's only like 5 games. They've beaten Minnesota since 1992, but they haven't beaten Minnesota in Minnesota since 1992. Last year they lost was the weirdest freaking game. No Debo, no Trent. And then weird stuff happened. They should have won the game even without those two. CMC fumbles on the first drive they have inside the 5 or whatever. And then the touchdown they gave up with less than 20 seconds was like a 70-yard touchdown. It's like weird stuff happened. Gronk gets concussed at the end of the game. So weird stuff happens. But I expect this game to be a much better, closer game than the one we just saw with the Niners. Why? Because Kevin O'Connell is a great head coach and a great play caller. And Brian Flores, their defense coordinator, has given Kyle Shanahan fits in the past. They're much better coached. And I just think it's going to be close. I don't think Sam Darnold is the best quarterback in the world, though I'm higher on Sam Darnold than a lot of people have been. On the record, I think there's a old podcast of me somewhere out there saying, look, before they made the trade up for Trey Lance that offseason, it was clear they wanted to move on from Jimmy. I said, trade for Sam Darnold, give up a second, trade for Sam Darnold, and let him work because I bet Kyle can do a lot with him. And then Sam Darnold showed out last week. Now, I don't think he'll be that good this week. I think the Giants are terrible. So, did we even talk about the Giants game? Did I skip over that completely? Was that not on here? Oh, we didn't get into it very much. But the Giants are bad. So I don't think Sam Darnold's going to be that good. I don't think Jordan Addison is going to play. Doesn't sound like it. High ankle sprain. So that helps the Niners. They need to come out with the same intensity that they came out with on Monday night. I think the Niners will cover, but it could be real close. So we'll see. But I'm taking the Niners. Josh, PTSD from that game last year. It sucks. But they're not going to go forever without ever winning another game in Minnesota. They're going to get Minnesota at some point. So I think this is the time. If everyone's healthy and we don't turn the ball over, then there's no reason they should lose. There's just no reason. It's just when you turn the ball over and things get weird that it starts to get crazy. Chargers at the Panthers are 6 point favorites. I'm going Chargers. This is a multi-touchdown victory for the Chargers. Okay. Now, Carolina probably will play better. They will be at home. Um, they can't play much worse, but the Chargers I think, are just they're better coached. I think I think the offense for the Chargers are going to get rolling a little more. But I'm picking Chargers. They're going to cover that spread. I think this has like maybe it's not an absolute blowout, but like 28-10. Like I don't know if you consider that a blowout. It's not going to be like a 35-3 game. I don't think the Chargers have that much firepower, but I think Bryce Young turns the ball over, and Chargers are going to make the most of it. Uh, Colts and Packers. Anybody hear that report that they might? Let's talk about real quick. Sorry, before we go to that, I saw a thing that perfectly sums up the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh is the greatest thing to happen to the Chargers in years since Herbert, but he's the worst thing to happen to Justin Herbert's stats. 100%. 100%. Justin Herbert was in an exact opposite situation the last handful of years. Stat machine, airing the ball out like crazy, but they lost a lot of games. Probably because they didn't control the ball very much, and defensively they let people down. They just had some inept head coaches. Harbaugh is the man. He's going to demand that they run the ball, play good defense, and win with physicality. And that's why I like him so much. But you're right. You're right. Herbert's not going to have any kind of MVP year, not with Harbaugh, and definitely not with the receivers he's got right now. But they have a recipe in place to win a lot of games. Okay, win a lot of games. I'm still not off my Chargers going to win the division. I think there's still a chance, but they're playing a last place schedule, which helps. So we'll see how all that shapes up. Did anybody see that the report that Matt LaFleur like it's not for sure that Jordan Love is out? Like, do we have any updates on that? That there's a chance he could play? Because that seems crazy to me. That is crazy to me. I get that it's just an MCL sprain, but one, like Love didn't look amazing in that Eagles game. He had a couple good throws. Okay, I understand that he made the cool like on the run throw, but like the dude was open by 20 yards. He's got an incredible arm talent, but he's falling in love with this. Like you saw he did in the Cowboys game, and he tried to do it again against Philly. He probably did it a lot last season. I just didn't watch every game where it's like the fadeaway jumper pass off his back foot, and he just and he threw a pick doing it. He threw a pick trying to do it this time. If I was a coach, I would be like, please stop doing that. Now I know you can't. You got to let a quarterback be a quarterback, but I'd be like, dude, please just like have good mechanics and push off your back foot and like all that. You have not earned that yet, but whatever. What do I know? Exactly, loves the fadeaway throw. Shaq Numbs, yeah, that's what I saw. He was out 4 to 6 weeks, but like LaFleur was talking the other day and said, yeah, they're going to be like, if he can go, he's going to play. And I was like, guys, he has a torn MCL. It's not torn, it's sprained. But like, okay, so he didn't look amazing to me. I thought he was careless with the ball. He had a dropped pick six. Okay, so did Jalen Hurts. So with a sprained MCL, like I can't imagine you're going to get the best version of Jordan Love. Also, you just made him the highest paid quarterback before Dak got signed, quarterback in the NFL, and now you're just going to put him out there and like risk him hurting it more. Like that seems risky to me, man. Seems risky to me. So I'm going to assume Shaq Numbs has the inside scoop, okay, and that he's actually out. And so I'm picking the Colts in this, who looked, like I said before, looked a lot better. It looks like DraftKings assumes that Love is going to be out because the Colts are 3-point favorites. They would not be favored on the road like that if Love was going to play. So I'm going with the Colts. Anthony Richardson, a highlight machine, but I want to see more consistency. I want him to be able to like hit more basic throws, but you went toe to toe with Houston, so props to you. What do I know? Okay, cruising right along. Okay, we were ping pong. Okay, Jets, I think bounce back. I think the Jets are going to have a big game. I know they're playing in Tennessee, but I think that Rodgers and I don't believe in Nate Hackett, but Rodgers and Brees Hall and all those boys that can play ball, they're gonna take care of business. Okay, Tennessee actually didn't play that bad outside of Will Levis. Like they had the lead, they just needed to protect the ball to get the win, and they couldn't do that. I just think that Jets defense can be chomping at the bit, smacking people around. And anyway, I'm going the Jets. I think they'll cover. Seattle at the Patriots. When Scott and I were talking about this earlier, um, like I, in every fiber of my being, want to pick the Patriots. I really, really do. I don't think I will. I don't think I will. I think that Patriots win was a fluke. I don't know if fluke is the right word. Maybe that's disrespectful, but we've seen Joe Burrow play bad. The recipe was there for them to play bad. Their defense isn't that great. Cincinnati's wasn't great last year. Remains to be seen if they can turn around this year. They had a weird, like, he fumbled going into the end zone, their tight end, after he caught a ball. The game might be different if you don't do that. So I don't know. It's hard to know. It's only week 2, so it's really hard to know. Um, if you told me the Patriots eked out another win and they won like a low scoring game, like 17-14, like I would believe you. If you told me the Seahawks won by 4 touchdowns, I would also believe you. Because I think that's one of those weird teams wins a game and when they shouldn't have, and then the rest of the year they still kind of suck and win 2 more games. Man. So I'm going Seattle. But Seattle, you're limited. You better figure it out. Defensively was pretty good. It was a rookie quarterback. You should embarrass the Patriots with that offensive line. I keep hearing from Seattle fans how Geno's the best or the second best quarterback in the NFC West, which I don't freaking know who actually believes that, if anyone does outside of Seattle. But you better freaking prove it to me. Geno better stop throwing the ball right to the other team. So that's my 2 cents on that. Tampa Bay, Detroit. That's a good one. That is a really good one. I know you don't mean that. I know you, Scott. I know that you don't mean that. I'm going to send you back to Washington if that happens. I'm going to let you go hang out with all your old coworkers at your old job. Those ones you loved so much that were Seahawks fans that you talk about all the time. That's not going to happen. I'd be shocked. Without any major injuries to the Niners, that's not happening. Tampa Bay, Detroit. This, like, sneaky could be a really good game. I mean, Baker looked great. It was Washington, but he looked really good. They look like they're kind of picking up steam from last year, or just riding that momentum from last year. But it's in Detroit, so I don't think Tampa. I think Tampa will make it a game. But I think Detroit's gonna lean on the run more. I would hope. They'll call a better game. They were one of those teams that didn't play anybody in the preseason, I don't think. So maybe there was some rust with that. But I love Big May. I want him to do well. I would love to see the Bucks win this game. I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to take Detroit, but maybe it'll be closer than we think, and maybe Tampa Bay is the real deal. But I'm not going to pick them. Now, the toilet bowl of the week, the poop bowl, whatever you want to call it, we have the Giants at the Commanders. What do you mean Arizona redemption arc incoming? You think Arizona is going to challenge for the division? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Shaq knows. That defense has too many problems, man. And I like Kyler as a talent, but he's not a very good leader. I don't think guys rally around him, and he's I don't know. He had like one really good year with Cliff Kingsbury, and then it fell off the rails. He's kind of a guy that doesn't like truly elevate his team, but he can like get the job done from some games. Like, I don't know, but on a consistent basis, can't do it. But their defense has problems too. The poop bowl, Giants at Commanders. Giants are right there with the Panthers, neck and neck, fighting for that first pick. It's week 1, and guess what, guys? I have already eliminated the Panthers and the Giants from playoff contention. So if you're a Giants fan, if you're a Panthers fan, rest easy. You can stop having anxiety on Sundays and stop worrying about playoff odds and how this affects your playoff picture, because you've been eliminated officially. Okay. Now, Washington is at home and they're going to win. I don't know how close it'll be. They're just a better run team. It's crazy to say you'd take a rookie Jaden Daniels over Daniel Jones. I mean, that's not crazy to say, but I like Jaden Daniels didn't didn't look amazing, but I would take Jaden Daniels. I think he's a better quarterback right now than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is just, man, he's just not it. One of the worst contracts we've seen in recent history. So I'm going Commanders in a close one that no one will watch unless you live in New York or in Washington. Browns and Jaguars. Man, Deshaun is terrible. Deshaun is terrible. But the Jaguars, you have not done yourselves any favors. Okay. You were like the hottest team in the NFL last year when San Francisco came into play, got the doors blown off you, and then you missed the playoffs. This week you were up like 17-3, or I think it was 17-3. ETN fumbles going into the end zone, and then next play Tyreek for 80 yards, and all of a sudden you're going to lose this game. Doug Peterson, I'm just tell you right now, you better not lose this game. You better not lose this game because you're going to get fired. This is a fireable offense if you lose this game. After how incompetent Deshaun looked, you better not lose this game. And it's tough because Cleveland's defense is good. I know Dallas made them look bad. Maybe they just weren't ready. I don't know. But historically, their defense has been good. And so you better not lose this game, man. Don't let them sneak up on you. I know you're not because you're professional and you just lost a heartbreaker. So anyway, this is my favorite game I want to talk about this week. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost to the end. Oh, am I picking the Browns? No, I'm picking the Jags. Sorry, should have made that official. I'm picking the Jaguars. I'm not picking the Browns. But if you told me the Browns won, I wouldn't be shocked because I don't believe in the Jags. I don't believe in them. What do you mean, wow? I'm picking the Jags. Let's chill out. I'm picking the Jags. But I'm just saying I don't believe in the Jags, but I think they're better than the Browns because I like Trevor Lawrence more than Deshaun. He's got some weapons, but Deshaun is a problem, man. He's a problem, and I don't believe in like if the Browns get ahead, I don't have any faith in the Jaguars to actually come back and win. But so that's the recipe for the Browns. They need to get a lead and then run the ball and just play tough defense because I don't think Trevor Lawrence can bring them back. I'm really low on Trevor Lawrence. All right, favorite game to talk about this week. Rams at Cardinals. Rams at Cardinals, guys. Listen, Cardinals played Buffalo great. They let it go in the second half, but they had some surge there at the beginning of the game. They were tough out last year. They're going to continue to be a tough out this year. Their defense is tough. Is in a rough spot. It's not very good. I was talking about that earlier, but the Rams just lost 3 offensive linemen in this game. They placed 2 of their linemen, 2 of them on IR after this game. They were already thin at line. Okay, they've got one of their tackles is suspended, and then they lost 3 more in that game. Stafford had no time to throw. Stafford's not a mobile guy as it is. He can move around in the pocket a little bit, but he's also turnover prone. He had the egregious pick in the end zone, kind of like what Jalen Hurts did. So I'm just telling you, Rams, you better not lose this game because you'll be 0-2 with neither of those linemen coming back. Puka Nacua out for a bit, and then you're going to be playing the 49ers, and you're going to be staring 0-3 in the teeth. And we will KO you. I'm telling you right now, we will KO you. I think the 49ers would play a tougher game if you were 0-2 than if you were 1-1. Because Kyle can smell blood, and that whole team can smell blood, and that whole team can say, these are the jokers that a lot of people were picking to win the division over the Niners, and we can send you 0-3. See ya. Maybe you'll get to 9-8 and claw in as the 7th seed, but good golly. Freaking Scott. Guys, if you don't know, Scott is like my sworn enemy in this life. Arch rival, okay, in every sense of the word. But I appreciate him hopping on, and I love that he hangs out and contributes to the pod, contributes to the channel. Anyway, so I say all that to say this, kind of like what I was saying with the Browns and the Jaguars. I'm going to take the Rams because I would take Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford over Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon. Steichen is in. Sorry, I always get those coaches mixed up. Jonathan Gannon. I think they're fine, but they're not Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. but man, are the Rams banged up. They are banged up. And so if you told me the Cardinals win at home, they're favorites. They are favorites. Rams fans, if you're watching this, never in a million years would you have thought you would be underdogs to the lowly Cardinals. Now they are on the road, I get it, but you're an underdog right now. So if you told me the Cardinals won this game, it would not be the biggest shock, and it would be Christmas morning for me. You want to tell me the Rams start 0-2 and staring 0-3 in the face? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. A couple more. Bengals at the Chiefs. I have no faith in this Bengals team right now. I think the Bengals are going to start 0-2. I think Joe Burrow has problems with the wrist. We've talked about it. Doesn't look like T. Higgins is going to play. He was out again. You'll probably get a better version of Jamar Chase if he actually plays the whole game. But it's hard to see it, man. It's hard to see it. Joe Burrow's wrist really worries me. Really worries me. So I'm going to go the Chiefs. They probably cover. That's kind of all I'm going to say. Maybe the Bengals will just lean on Zach Moss and just, I don't know. They got problems, though. They got issues over there. Okay. 3 more. Shaq Numbs. The Steelers are 2.5-point favorites in Denver. I have issues. Excuse me. I have my worries for the Denver Broncos. Now they're at home, so that helps. I'm concerned for Bo Nix playing this defense. Bo Nix needs a get me right game, and this is not that game. It probably wasn't Seattle either. Like Seattle's defense, I know I'm low on Seattle, but that's because of Geno Smith more than anything. Seattle's defense is going to be a top half defense in the league, top 16, 15 defense in the league. Could be higher. Could be top 10 maybe by the end of the year. This Steelers defense and TJ Watt is just, he's an animal. He's an animal. And if you can't get the run game going, you're relying on Bo Nix, and that is a scary thing. That is a very scary thing. So you said Justin, but Justin is playing. Russ won't play per reports. Who would you rather face, Shaq Numbs? Who would you rather face? That's my question. Would you rather play Justin or would you rather play Russ? Probably Russ. You probably want the revenge on Russ. I would rather play Russ. His playmaking ability is not as good as Justin Fields. This is going to be another Falcons versus Steelers field goal contest. I agree. Field goal contest for sure. I think that's what this is going to be. I'd rather play Russ if I were you, because Fields can get loose and run around, and that causes problems. Russ can't do that anymore, even if Russ throws the ball a little better than Fields. But I'm taking the Steelers by a field goal. I hate to say it, man. Looks like 0-2. Just Bo Nix needs Carolina on his schedule. He needs the Patriots or the Giants on his schedule. Just something that he can get his confidence going. So it's a tough draw getting these guys in week 2. 2 more games, right quick. Bears at the Texans. Man, I'm taking the Texans. I'm taking them to cover. This is going to be really interesting. This is going to be really interesting to see what we do. Before we do that, let's pop this up. I'd rather play Russ. 1, I want my revenge, and 2, Russ takes unnecessary sacks. Exactly. Russ can't escape. Russ is a shell of himself. His legs are not what they were before. He can't move. So if you get any kind of pressure on him, he's throwing it away. He's throwing to the wrong guy if the first read isn't open, or he's taking a sack. Fields' mobility, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. The Niners lost that game to the Bears 2 years ago to open week 1. That was a Trey Lance start. But just Fields' mobility just killed us. We lost because we let him hang around, and then his mobility, like, he can get anyone, don't care how good your defense is. So yeah, you're right to think that. It sucks. I'd be bummed. But the revenge part of it too. Chicago, you need to get something figured out with Caleb, and quick. Now, Caleb doesn't have to be the final product this weekend, and I'm not calling him a bust. I already said that. He is not a bust, but it was not good. I expected him to look better than that. He looked overwhelmed. He had less than 100 passing yards. Missed a couple balls, had Keenan Allen down the sideline, would have been a big play. I expected better than that. You expected better than that. So I just want you to admit that. I just want you to be real with yourself, Chicago fans. You expected more, and that's okay. He was a rookie in his first start, but you better see some improvements. There better be some improvements. So if not, with every week that he doesn't improve, you'll start feeling some pressure. You should start getting worried. But it's one game. But either way, I just think the Texans at home in a different stratosphere. The Texans look really good. Bears, you're still a year or two away. CJ Stroud is balling. I'm going to take the Texans on Sunday Night Football, and I think they'll cover. Lastly, Falcons at the Eagles. I would love to see the Falcons beat the Eagles. Here's the recipe for the Falcons to beat the Eagles. Jalen's got to turn the ball over, okay, which can happen. You guys got a good defense, okay. I need Jalen to turn the ball over. I need that safety you guys paid, those defensive guys you added, need to get after Jalen, get the ball back. And on offense, I don't know if you need to move the pocket. I don't know. I would lean on Bijan Robinson. I would give him 25 carries. Okay. I would call plays. I would call the plays Kirk is most comfortable with. And you got to play good defense. Because here's what the Eagles are going to do. They're going to air it out. They're going to lean on Saquon, but they're also going to take some deep shots because that's what Jalen does. There's a good chance he's going to have some highlight plays, but he's going to throw you the ball. The ball will hit some defenders' hands in this game, just like it did multiple times against the Packers. Now, the Packers didn't catch them all. They caught one of them. He will do that. And Raheem Morris, you better have your best defensive game plan, okay? Because you need some turnovers, okay? I'm going to say that the Eagles win, but I think the Falcons can cover because it's a ping pong league. I think here's some of the worst thing that mediocre teams can do. This is going to sound bad. And if I was famous, people would clip this and then it would be like they would throw it out on Twitter and like roast me or whatever. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen is for mediocre teams to win games, because when you win, it hides a lot of the problems. And the Eagles won. And so maybe they're less motivated to fix some of their problems on defense because they have problems on defense. Their defense is not great. They have issues on defense still. Broken coverages. I saw big play after big play by Green Bay. Green Bay did the same thing, big play after big play. And so if you told me Atlanta came in, they just had a better game plan, they fed Bijan, and Philly's defense still really struggled, then yeah, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. I think the Falcons will cover. I think they'll cover, and Falcons will go to 0-2, and Philly will go to 2-0. Unfortunately, Josh, right before he leaves, says only if Penix plays. I wonder how long the leash will be for Kirk Cousins before Penix gets put in there. It'll be interesting to see. Again, it's too early. They paid Kirk so much money, but he didn't look comfortable. That's kind of the best way to put it. He didn't look comfortable, and it's not good. That's not what you want to see if you're a Falcons fan. But there's time to get better. Time to get better. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So last week I went 10-6 with my picks. If I hadn't have been so cavalier with the Panthers and the Commanders, then it could have been 12-4, maybe 13-3 if I hadn't have picked Denver. But I was trying to be bold, trying to be different. So we'll see. 10-6 is the record right now for this week. My official picks. I'm going. If you're just joining, if you're catching at the end, okay. I'm going Miami, Baltimore, Chargers on the road, Dallas, Detroit, Indy on the road. I don't think Jordan Love's playing. I know what Matt LaFleur said. Doesn't sound like he's going to play. Jacksonville at home, San Francisco on the road, Seattle on the road, Jets on the road, Washington at home. You know what? Shaq Nums. Can I change one of my picks? Because I wrote down earlier and I changed in my mind, but I think I'm going to change it back. Okay, so hopefully anyone who watches this whole thing, I'm going to flip. I'm going to take the Cardinals over the Rams. I think it is. I think they're so hurt. I think they're so banged up. Shaq Nums is going to keep tally. Perfect. You don't got to ask permission. I just keep tally. Well, you tell everyone. Say I changed my mind. Part of it's because earlier I wrote down Arizona, and I know while I was doing this I was feeling the Rams, but I just think I'm going to go with my original pick. I'm going to go with my initial gut feeling. I think the Cardinals are going to get them. So we're gonna say the Cardinals beat the Rams, and Rams go to 0-2. Then I've got Pittsburgh on the road, Kansas City at home, Houston at home, and Philadelphia at home. Best time of the year, guys. Week 2 is upon us. We start to learn a little bit more. You don't really know what your team is or what everyone's team is until until like week 4. After week 4, you kind of have a better idea and better feel. So we're still kind of in that feeling out process, but I'm excited. Love it. Watch football. Enjoy it because it's only around for so long. So enjoy it for as long as you can. Okay. We'll keep doing this every week, Wednesday night, live show, hangout. Tomorrow I'm gonna drop a little video, probably 49er video, previewing just deeper dive into the matchup against the Vikings, and that'll come out either Thursday evening or Friday sometime. But that is all I've got for you. Thank you for joining. Subscribe, like. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and like it. I said that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and like the video if you haven't liked it. But you guys are awesome. I'll see you next time. I'm out.